Alrighty, we are at top of the hour. So hi everyone and welcome to our second webinar. This one's titled Maximizing Your POS Power, Operational Tools That Will Drive Real Impact. We're really glad that you're here because this session is all about unlocking the full potential of the tools that you already have, especially your POS and customer-facing systems. So whether you're managing a single site or scaling across a region, the operational workflows we'll walk through today are designed to save you time, reduce errors, and ultimately drive a better customer experience. Before we dive in, I want to quickly introduce the team that's joining me today. So as most of you know, I'm Sasha. I lead the national sales efforts for our controls and POS division. With me is the amazing Reggie, our EVP of technology. He's the true expert in system workflows and implementation strategy. Also with us is the awesome Ruben. He is our technology sales engineer, aka the guy who makes the magic happen behind the scenes. So when you guys ask, but how does it actually work? Ruben's the one who shows you exactly how it all comes together. And finally, the fabulous Nick Kearns, who many of you already know. He's been instrumental in helping our customers scale efficiently and get more out of their tech stack. So between the four of us, you're in good hands, and we're here to make sure this session is valuable, interactive, and answers all the questions that you may not know you had. So here's a quick look at what we'll cover today. So we'll start with core POS functionality, especially around the SPS terminal, showing you where small adjustments can create big improvements in daily operations. Then we'll highlight customer-facing features, including newer releases like trial period scheduling for memberships. After that, we'll move on to demystifying house accounts. Think RFID tags, license plates, and billing rules. So there's no more guesswork for you guys. And then we'll wrap up with a look at the RealTime app and how mobile visibility can drive faster, smarter decision-making at the site level. Of course, after all of that, we'll end with our Q&A. So bring your questions, drop them into the chat. Let's make this time count. Thanks again for joining, and let's kick it off with our first topic that we're covering, which is the POS core functionality. We're going to show you how to drive efficiency and accuracy right at the SPS terminal by highlighting some of the often overlooked tools. Ruben's going to walk us through the dashboard where you will be able to manage memberships so you can streamline your day-to-day operations and get the most out of your SPS. Thanks, Ruben.
All right. So, guys, I think this has been a pretty big topic to a lot of operators, right? So basically, the ability to manage the plan or manage a membership outside of the point of sale, right? Like most of us, especially those of us that are express operators, you have pay stations at the lane. Let's say a customer pulls up to the pay station and the gate doesn't open for whatever reason. Maybe their account is in a cancel status. Maybe they pulled up with a new vehicle, right, where the license plate hasn't been updated. You know, this would prompt your site employees, site attendants to have to run to the point of sale, right? Now, the point of sale depends on your site layout, could be in the lobby, and that lobby may be, I don't know, 200, 300 feet away, right? So there would be a lag between the employee having to run, take care of the issue, come back to the customer, take care of the customer. So we try to make a way to basically simplify that process, right? And the goal is to be able to provide those attendants the ability to make these changes right there on the spot. So here on the screen, I'm basically showing a screenshot of my pay station, right? Now, most of us that are maybe doing cash reconciliation, cash handling, we probably know about this little hidden button here on the top left corner. So you guys should see that little red box there. Basically, you will tap on that little top left screen of the menu there, and it will launch you into our admin pages. So basically, you're going to need login credentials to log in here. Typically, this is something that gets provided from the on-site techs when your site gets first installed. But if you need, maybe you don't remember what those credentials are, we can always update those credentials through tech support. So basically, once you log into this portal, there's going to be a new operations menu here. So you will be clicking onto this operations menu. Now, those of us, again, that are familiar with doing cash reconciliation, here's where the cash reconciliation module is going to be. Right above that, you're going to see something called accounts. Now, this is something that's basically new, or it's going to be new to most operators. So guys, if you don't see this today, that is okay. We'll talk about a little bit once we're done showing you guys this functionality on how you can request this new feature. So more on that a little bit later. But basically, you're going to be clicking on accounts here, and an employee is going to have to log in. Now, one thing to keep in mind is when the employee's logging in here, it could be done with two ways. So you're going to have an employee barcode that can be scanned, or you can manually enter your ID. Once the employee enters that or scans that and they sign in, they're now going to be prompted to another page. On this second page here, it's going to basically ask for you to enter a license plate, right? So we're going to have a search bar here at the top where you're going to be searching for that license plate. Once you do search for that license plate, the pay station is basically going to talk to the point of sale, is going to do a handshake, and is going to go ahead and find that membership account, right? So here we have an example on what that would look like. But here on the bottom, we have the different options, right? Now, some of these options we may be familiar with if we did these options on the point of sale. Things like updating a license plate, things like updating a credit card, things like adding an additional member to the membership, being able to upgrade or downgrade, being able to activate or deactivate a member. And then, of course, if a customer wanted to cancel their plan, we also have that option here. Now, this approach that I showed, guys, was if you're stuck on the main menu. Another thing that you're going to be able to do, or that the employee is going to be able to do, is the employee is going to be able to scan their employee barcode, basically the same way that we do LPR override. And on that LPR override screen, there's going to be a button that says change account. Once you click change account, you're going to be redirected to this menu here. And then again, you will be scanning that employee barcode, and then you're going to be able to have access to this menu. Now, going through some of these options here, right? We'll have the ability to update somebody's, adding a new license plate. So here's how that process would look like. We give you guys the on-screen keyboard so that the employee can type in the changes. Here's the sample on how it would look like when you're going to add an additional member. Now, for now, we have the ability to add 2 members on the spot, but typically you're mainly only adding that 1 member, right? We're also going to be able to show a proration fee that's applicable if a proration fee needs to be paid when we're making that change. If we needed to deactivate a member, basically deactivating that license plate, and once you do, that pricing will revert back to original pricing here. You also have the ability to update the credit card, right? So this is something that was unique to having to go to the point of sale to do. We're going to provide the capabilities to do that from the pay station as well. Upgrading and downgrading here. So depending on the option, right? So similar to the point of sale, we'll show you all the plans that are available, and then the employee can choose what plan the customer's either downgrading or upgrading to. And then, of course, nobody wants to do this, but if the customer did decide to cancel, we'll also provide that option there. Now, how does this all work, right? Or how is this going to work? One of the first things we'll ask is to send or submit an email to our tech support team. So if we can, so some of us that want to start leveraging this today, right? So let's say that you guys signed into your pay station and this accounts option here is not available, right? This is going to require an update that our tech support team is going to be able to push. So the only thing we ask by the time we're done with this webinar, feel free to send an email to our controls help desk at sonnysdirect.com. Now, when we're sending the email, if we can, please include a subject line. So on this subject line, we're going to ask for you guys to include Sonny's Pay Station member management, and then basically including a dash and then your car wash name. Okay, so then our team is going to be able to properly filter through these requests and be able to update you guys' pay stations kind of like a first come, first serve basis. Now, let's say that you guys get updated. We update you to the system, but you may not be able to leverage it fully only because there's going to be some employee access that we're going to need to grant. Now, what does that all mean? Let me go ahead and pull up the back office here very quickly. Bear with me 1 second. So on this login page, if an employee, if let's say we update your system and an employee tries to log in right now, that login is going to be denied, right? So we added another level of permissions because it may be up to you guys to decide what employee should or should not be doing these actions, right? So basically, we're going to go into our employees list. We're going to be accessing the shield icon here. And this should be under general here. So we're going to go into each employee's permissions. We go to general, and then we have a new option here for PayStation admin. So we're going to need to grant any employee that's going to need this feature the ability for them to do that as such. Another thing that I'd like to just throw, guys, for everybody to know is we also did an update that will allow you to create your own templates, right? So this may be something else that you leverage where you do a point of sale permission template for your site attendants that are going to be handling memberships on the lanes. And once you build out this template, you may be able to already include this SPS admin option for the access. Awesome. Nick, Sasha, any questions there that customers have been having?
Thanks, Ruben. Yeah, we've got a couple questions coming through, but what we might do is just hold them until the end for our Q&A session. For everyone that's attending the webinar, if you could please post your questions in the Q&A chat, not necessarily in the chat for the webinar. That way we can make sure that everyone's privy to it and we can answer it accordingly. Thank you. So next up, we'll showcase some customer-facing functionality. Ruben's going to walk us through the new features designed to enhance the configuration experience, from the way the memberships are trialed to how promotions and add-ons are presented at the pay station. Thank you, Ruben.
So this has been a long time request from our customers. So basically, the ability to enable trial promotions, right? I think most of us, especially on grand opening, we've been able to enable a trial promotion, but oftentimes we would forget to turn that trial promotion off, right? Turn that setting off. So we never really had a clean way for us to be able to, you know what, I want to run this trial promotion between the days off so that it can automatically turn off, and kind of like a set and forget type of functionality. So to kind of go over that, let me go back to the back office here. So we'll go into our recurring plans, recurring monthly plans, and we'll go into any plan, right? So here you're going to see this update. You know, this is one of our most recent 25.0 25.4 updates that came with this functionality here, right? So if some of us, maybe, I don't know, maybe we opened our site 6 months ago, a year ago, maybe a couple of years ago, and we haven't done trials in a while. You know, I think when we talk about trial promotions, guys, this is always a good idea to, increase that membership base. I think it's always a good idea to maybe leverage trials every 6 months or so to try and get customers to join back at a more aggressive price, right? So if we do decide to turn this setting on, you're going to see that there's new updates here. We have something called regions here. This is going to be more specific for my multi-site customers. So if you're one site, this may not be super specific to you, but for my multi-site customers, we're going to be able to now leverage this at the region level or at the district level. And more on that, we can have those conversations a little bit more after here. But basically, here we're going to be able to select the price, the trial price that these customers are going to be able to sign up for, and the amount of months that this trial price will be eligible for. So nothing here has changed, right? This is pretty much the same thing that we've always done. So the new update came with the ability for this toggle here, which is scheduling. So now we have the ability to turn this toggle to on, which will allow us to now pick a starting date, right? So we'll have the same calendar that you guys have probably seen on multiple different things within the back office here. So we can say, okay, I want this to start, I don't know, July 31st, and I want this to end August 31st. So now this way, trial promotions would only be turned on July 31st, and they'll turn back off on August 31st.
Awesome.
Now, Sasha, I do want to cover one thing. I know I was going over the presentation, but I want to make sure that everybody understood kind of the process here on the PayStation for point of sale functionalities. So I'd like to just take a couple more minutes and just talk about that a little bit more before we go into our next step here. So here on the PayStation side, again, we mentioned that we have a little hidden button here on the top left corner, right? So we're going to click on that top left corner button. We spoke about that we're going to have login credentials here. And then we mentioned we're going to have a new section, right? So again, if this section is not available to you guys, feel free to send us an email to our controls help desk, and we'll be able to provide that update for you guys. So once I'm on operations here, we'll go into accounts. And remember, at this point, I'll have the ability to scan that barcode at the PayStation barcode scanner, or I may be able to manually enter my employee ID. So this employee ID will essentially link from the same barcode. So if I go to employees and then I go to employee barcodes here, and I say search for me here. So basically I'm barcode 24. So then when I'm in the PayStation and I have the proper access, I'll be able to enter my ID and it should let me in. So now I'm in. Now there is an error here showing at the bottom here that says no LPR plate was scanned, right? So I'm doing this manually. Remember, I don't have a customer on my lane right now. If I had a customer inside that PayStation lane, it would have automatically recognized that license plate and essentially would have put them here. Let's say maybe there was an issue with scanning the license plate where maybe we need to manually type it in, then we'll be able to do that like so, right? So in this case, I actually have a specific license plate for the webinar. So once I enter the license plate and I search, like we mentioned, it talks to the point of sale, fetches the data, and here's the account, right? So now once I have the account, I can do whatever I need to do from here, starting from updating the license plate, credit card, adding a member. So these were some of the screenshots that I showed on the presentation where we can update that license plate, we can update the credit card. Now, depending whether if the customer is in an active status, we will just be doing an authorization charge, which is pretty much just a $0 charge. Sometimes we'll see that reflected on our reporting system as just token charge. We can have the ability to add that additional member, doing that upgrade and downgrade that we spoke about, and then, canceling the plan or deactivating an additional member. So I just wanted to make sure that I ran that live with you guys. I'm not a big presentation person. Some of us that maybe, we've done a training in the past, I like to just show things live. I don't like to just show images. So wanted to make sure I show that, Sasha. I'm sorry.
You're all good, mate. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think we'll dive into our house account logic now. So this is one of the most commonly misunderstood areas, and we had a lot of questions about it. So we're going to break it down step by step. Sorry. We'll start by clarifying what house accounts are, when to use them, and who benefits most. So Ruben's going to walk us through how to assign RFID tags versus license plates and explain how the billing rules actually work in practice.
That's a really good point, Sasha. Speaking with different operators, every time that I've been involved in conversations, house accounts have always been a thing that I want to do, but not really. There's a lot of, accounts payable and accounts receivable. I need to send an invoice. I need to wait for the check to come through the mail, right? It hasn't really been a very clean way. And, we've always tried our best to provide different avenues for unique scenarios depending what the requests are, of course. But just as a quick dive, right? What is a house account, right? That's a question that comes in a lot. So it's very different than memberships. A lot of people try to associate both as the same. Think of a membership as I charge you a flat fee and then you can redeem, you know, your wash for free for that entirety of the month, right? We all know memberships, but house accounts, it's more of a pay as you go basis, right? So basically, this is essentially a business account or also called fleet accounts that we can create, right? So we can partner maybe with a dealership locally or maybe with an organization, right, that will allow potentially their employees, or if this was a fleet account, maybe a rental service, that we can add all of those license plates from this maybe fleet account. And then as these license plates are coming in, we're going to charge them per visit basis, right? So as these employees are coming in, if we're doing LPR, we'll scan the license plate and the gate's going to automatically open. Now, once the gate opens, the system's going to automatically charge the account on file. And done. We don't have to do anything, right? Now, in the past, the billing and the kind of the accounting portion has been a little difficult, right? So in one of our recent updates, we've essentially made that process a little bit simpler and a little bit cleaner. Now, to talk about assigning tags or assigning license plates, let's kind of go into our house account module, right? So we go to visitors here, we go to house accounts, and here I have multiple different house accounts, right? But the intent is, let me just pick one. Let me just pick this one here. So we have two options, right? And this is often a question that comes in that ends up becoming an issue on redemption. Is within house accounts, we have the ability to do tags, which this can be RFID tags or cards. So one thing to remember, guys, is the same gift cards that you guys get from us, they actually can be three different things, right? These gift cards could be a gift card, of course, they could be a wash book, but they could also be a house account. So my best example sometimes with dealerships, right? Dealerships, if you wanted to do a house account with a dealership, they're not always going to have the same license plate, right? So it may be a scenario, well, Ruben, I don't have an RFID system in my car wash. Okay, then give them cards, right? The same gift cards that you guys have, you can assign those so they can utilize that for redemption, okay? So with that being said, let's say you wanted to leverage tags, or let's say you wanted to leverage license plates. One of the biggest questions that come in is, can I do both? And essentially the answer there is no. So one thing to keep in mind, whenever you're creating your house account, depending on the business that you're doing this relationship with, you want to be very clear on what their approach is, right? So a common question that I like to give you guys for you guys to utilize is the same vehicle going to be coming in every single time? When I think about a police department house account, it's always the same car, right? It's always the same fleet of police cars. So license plate could be the way to go. When I think about somebody like a dealership where license plates aren't always going to be the same, then that's where I would do the gift card approach or the card approach. So with that being said, again, always choose either license plate or vehicles or tags. We just can't do both. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that I clarify that because I know we had a few questions coming in from our previous webinar we did. Now, coming back to the update, right? What is it that we did? So here we actually designed an engine to be able to make processing of payments much easier and much cleaner. So basically here, we're going to allow you guys the ability to utilize this email. Now, what does that mean, right? So as I'm creating this entity or this business, let's say this was a dealership, I'm going to be entering the owner or the person that owns this business. This is where his email is going to be. So let me put my email here as an example, right? So what we're going to do now is once this email is entered and we scroll to the bottom here, we're now going to be able to automatically send an invoice to this email. Okay. Now, how does this happen? Because you may say, well, Ruben, I've already put emails there and we're not sending these invoices. Well, it may be because here on the bottom, we never set a statement reminder date. Okay. So once the email has been populated properly, we're going to be able to select between these ranges here, which we have from 1 through 28, on when you want this invoice to be automatically sent to the customer. So basically, once I click, I don't know, let's say first of every month, right? So I would choose number 1. This invoice will be automatically generated and sent to the customer. Within this invoice, we will be showing the balance that the customer owes us for that duration. And we're also going to show a secured payment link. So once this customer clicks on the payment link, the customer is going to be able to basically enter all their credit card information, and they're going to be able to pay for that balance. Once the customer successfully pays for the balance will now be reflected back to 0. And when I think about accounts payable and accounts receivable, I don't have to do that anymore, right? There's really nothing I have to do. So now house accounts have become a little bit more of an automated process where the system's going to automatically send them the invoice, and then that the owner of the business will be able to receive that email, click on the payment link, and send that payment. Now, there's a second option here. If we just go back here very quickly, we have an option for another email, right? Now, here, the note here is this is an internal email. So the goal is this will be the email that I would be putting as the car wash owner or car wash operator for me to be notified when these events are happening, okay? So think about putting your personal email here or your car wash email. So now you can be notified as these invoices are coming in, and then as payments are being received. So now you're notified that everything's running flawlessly. So in case somebody hasn't submitted their payment, then, of course, you have all of their contact information here. You may want to give them a call and, be able to figure out payment and whatnot. Awesome. Any questions there, Sasha?
We've got a few coming through, so good to see, guys. Keep them coming. We're going to pivot a little bit now, and we'll take a look at the RealTime app. So this is where your operations truly go mobile. Whether you're managing one site or 10, RealTime gives you the visibility into key metrics without being tied to the terminal. Ruben's going to walk us through the dashboard. You're going to see your car wash metrics all at your fingertips.
Awesome. So RealTime. Now, this is something, guys, that in all honesty, we released quite a few months ago, right? Now the RealTime has gone through a lot of different updates, right? This is a product that we're continuously improving, continuously making better, and of course, listen to you guys, our customers' feedback, and implementing some of these feedbacks like, hey, I want this specific metric here. There's a metric that you're not pulling from back office. Can we add that? So hopefully, if you downloaded this app maybe 3 or 4 months ago, hopefully it looks a little bit better than it did, or hopefully it has more metrics that you were missing if we wanted to download the app today. Okay. Now, again, guys, you know me. What is this picture going to show me, right? So let's kind of dive into the real time a little bit and show it live. So basically here, guys, I'm just running an engine that allows me to show this application here. But think about you guys leveraging this application in your phone, right? So the idea is being able to have this data at your fingertips without the need to have to log into the back office. So here on this is kind of a view for all of your sites. So you can quickly launch your phone, launch the RealTime app, and be able to see exactly how many cars you've washed, how many new memberships you've sold, what is your total sales, what is your conversion rate, what is your labor, your total labor if you're leveraging labor through our point of sale and through controls, what is your full transaction total, and then right. So these are a lot of statistics that we would maybe want to have at our fingertips. Then our RealTime app will be able to show that live. Now, if we're a multi-site, right, we're going to be able to link all of your sites and all of your locations, right? So if we scroll down, we're going to be able to see all of the statistics from each one of our sites, so that we'll be able to have all the data all at once. So this is a little bit on the home view, the home page. Now, this app leverages multiple different sections or menus here at the very bottom, right? So the home page is kind of like, okay, let me, I woke up today, or I don't know, maybe it's halfway through the afternoon. How many cars have I washed, right? So I pull that up and I can see that. We have different options here, right? So we have our present. Here on our present, we can go in a little bit more detail as to where our car count is. Now, keep in mind, present is a view per site. So if I wanted to look at different sites, I just go to the very top here, and I'm able to select what location I want to see. Once I selected the store, I can look at the metrics for this store as it equates to car count. We have sales metrics here. We have labor metrics. We have top greeters, items sold, employees, right? So we can get to those metrics and get to the bottom of that a little bit more. That's a little bit on the present view. On the charts, right? So we have different options here that we can choose, right? So we can compare our sales. Now, one neat feature that we did for the Quibio RealTime app, and those of us that are looking to potentially start leveraging Quibio in the near future, is we're doing a lot of data comparison, right? So here you can see how we're automatically comparing with the previous day. So you can, at a glance, you're going to be able to see, because maybe you don't remember, well, how many cars did I wash yesterday? Or how many cars did I wash last week? So we're providing percentages for you to have those metrics at your fingertips as to how well you're doing today in comparison to another day. Like, for example, here on home, right? So here on home, we're comparing today versus the previous Wednesday of last week, right? So maybe, right, we can come up with ideas on, well, this Wednesday, maybe I'm down X amount of percent, Y, and maybe we can look at metrics. Maybe it's been raining today. Maybe we're understaffed, right? And we can potentially make decisions on the fly and be able to adjust things on the site level to be able to bring this percentage higher than what it is today. Going back to charts here, so I was a little bit on the sales side. We have some labor statistics here that we can look at as well. Same thing with membership, right? So I think this is going to be one of the most important ones, being able to leverage those membership statistics, what your current membership count is, and you can compare that via day, week, month, and year. Now, historical is, right, a lot of this data, guys, we're fetching it today, right? This data is, hey, I want to see something right now. But here we have an option for historical data that we'll be able to choose a calendar and be able to come up with ranges of data sets that I want to be able to see last week. Maybe I want to be able to see last month. So here on historical, you're going to be able to adjust these date ranges and, again, be able to come up with some of these statistics here that you may want to have at your fingertips. For my multi-site customers, we're also going to have a multi-site view here. where, again, we're going to be comparing things at a multi-site level. So, for example, if I wanted to leverage memberships, I can see what my new member count is for all of my sites, right? So it's a total of 21, which we kind of saw that here on the homepage. So I just refresh, right? So we continuously selling memberships here. So now it's at 24. But right, this section here didn't quite show me how many memberships I sold at site 1 versus site 2 versus site 3. So this may be something that I come here on the multi-site level that I can see, okay, at this location I sold X amount, and kind of so far and so forth there. Same thing with labor, and then same thing with sales statistics. So guys, this is available today. So if you never heard about RealTime, feel free to pull up your phone right now and just search for Quivio RealTime. You're going to be able to see that on the App Store or Play Store. And essentially, what are you going to need in order to log into this? Let me see if I can log out. Yes, log out. So this is how it's going to look like, right? So I need a username and a password. Now this username and the password should be the same, or it will, I should say, will be the same as the password and username that you have set for the back office. So none of this is going to change. Now, subdomain, I don't know if we all know what our subdomain is, but those of us that are, actively looking on the back office today, your subdomain is always going to be this very first section out of your back office URL, right? So you're always going to be carwashname.sonnyscontrols.com. So if I wanted to sign into this specific database, I would be looking at subdomain controls training, and then I would be looking at that username and password that I have configured within my database. Awesome.
Thanks, Ruben. Just when you guys go to the app stores to download that, it's Quivio RealTime, and RealTime is one word. So Quivio, Quivio, and RealTime, one word. Thank you again, Ruben. We are moving and grooving. So to wrap things up, we're moving into our Q&A session. We've had some great questions coming in throughout the webinar, so thank you very much for staying engaged. Just a heads up that we will be answering questions that pertain to this webinar. There are a few questions in there that are outside the realm of what we're presenting in this webinar. I would encourage you to email any questions that you have through to controlssales@sonnysdirect.com. And one of our sales reps will be able to pick up that question and point you in the right direction, help you with setting up some additional training for yourself or your team. We've got a lot of resources that are available for you guys. But once again, if it doesn't pertain to the webinar, please email us at controlsales@sonnysdirect.com. So we're going to take a few minutes to address the most common ones we've seen in this webinar. And with that, I'll hand it over to Nick Kearns to get you guys the answers that you need.
All right, yeah, so Reggie has been in the chat answering some questions one by one. There are a couple that I think the group would benefit from, so we'll just go back over those and Reggie can weigh in on them. Let's see here. Let's do from Kylie. We're participating in a community event next month and plan to offer 50% off the first month of a wash membership. We'd like to utilize the one-time use discount code for this promotion, but we want to confirm if a customer uses this code, will the 50% discount apply only to their first month and not recur each month on their plan?
Okay, thanks, Nick. And it would actually happen just to the first transaction. So all the recurring transactions will be at normal price, but first transaction / first month will be at the discounted price that you set on the one-time use code.
Awesome.
Good question.
And then we have from Matthew. From the permissions and access for the SPS, again, going back to the SPS admin POS pages, can that be limited to just the customer forms, or would that include access to cash reconciliation as well?
Just the customer forms. So Ruben went through a long way and a short way. So a long way was what you first saw, where he logged in as an admin from the pay station, went through that process, then entered his PIN. That's a long path. Short path limits them just to that area, and that is them scanning their barcode and then entering their employee PIN. We're able to do that so that we can tie it back to any transactions and anything else, just like they were doing at the POS and the permissions. So
Yep.
long answer short, they would just have access to that area if they went through the path of scanning a barcode and were not an admin on the pay station already.
Awesome, thank you. Just got a really good one from Amber. For the accounts module at the pay station, again, going back to managing memberships from the pay station, if a customer is visiting from another location, will we be able to make changes to their account through this tool?
Yes, you will. So think of it just like the POS. So any changes that you would make at the POS, you'd be able to make out at the pay station. So it's not site specific.
Awesome. Okay. Here's one from Taylor. I know this is probably on some other people's minds too. So basically, to summarize her question, it's, how come John Smith's credit card, when he signs up for a membership, somehow comes over as Visa card holder, and is there anything that can be done on our end to prevent that?
Unfortunately, with that one, what we're doing is we're capturing the name from the credit card. So some accounts, some Visa card holders, that's not something that we actually fill in. It's what's provided to us when they swipe their card or dip their card or tap. So unfortunately, yeah, that is a bit of a Visa problem on what's returned to us from the credit card processor.
Awesome. All right.
That question comes up a lot. So yeah, that's a pretty common one, Nick.
And then from Julie and Ronnie, Ruben, on the SPS admin screens, are you able to suspend an account from there?
Currently, you cannot suspend.
Yeah, I don't think we've added that option.
But it is in the pipeline. So as we get it out and we start gathering feedback, again, keep in mind, this is like all the products that we have out in the field, that as we start to gather more feedback, then we start implementing additional features and enhancements.
Awesome. All right. Another good one from Anthony. It was a long question with a lot of detail, and we appreciate that, and I'm going to hold on to this one. But just to summarize, do we have any intentions of rolling out any type of referral programs for purchases or reward incentives, something like that?
We do, I think as everyone knows, we are working on a full-blown CRM right now. That is in early testing. So that is in the roadmap for the CRM.
Awesome. Okay. Are there any plans to increase the e-commerce ability to be able to sell merchandise like T-shirts or any type of merchandise from the car wash?
Right now, it's not on the short list of items. We have not received very many requests to add merchandise to it. It's not a heavy lift, but I did in the comments mention that we're happy to add it into our longer term pipeline. We usually try to plan a couple of quarters in advance. So yeah, it's something that we can come within the next, probably early 2026.
Gotcha. Perfect. For a house account, when a vehicle license plate was assigned to an RFID and or a wash package plan, the back office does not appear to allow the vehicle to be assigned by license plate number to a house account. In a specific instance, the license plate was assigned to a monthly wash package that was subsequently canceled. What am I doing wrong? How can I reset the system to allow vehicle license plate number to be assigned to a house account? So I think the crux of that question is at the end there. If you have a house account that's set up with RFID currently, how can you kind of convert that over to LPR if that's possible? I think is the core of the question there.
Okay, well, we don't want you to have a license plate that's on a membership plan and in the house account. So that's where we'll get prevented to do that, because it would essentially be a race condition where software wouldn't know which one we should charge or which one we should process when somebody comes in. So I would start with, we could reach out to you and have support take a look, but definitely removing the license plate from the recurring plan would be the first path I would take. And if that's something, and if maybe we're misunderstanding your question, again, let's get you with support so that they can look deeper into it with you.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Ruben, I'm getting this one a couple times. Would you mind just pulling up, if you can, the Quivio real-time login screen and just giving one more once-over of what we're looking in there in terms of signing in? Because we know that it's going to be your same username and password as back office, but I think there may be some confusion around what to put into that subdomain field.
Yep. So let me log out again here. So username and password, we spoke about that. So we have the subdomain here, right? Again, subdomain, think of it as when you log into back office, right? If maybe you have back office on a, maybe on a bookmark on your browser. When you launch your back office, what do you see at the very beginning, right? This is essentially going to act as that subdomain. So basically the way that we've done this is subdomain is CarWash name, or the way that we have that CarWash name registered in the back office, that's sonnyscontrols.com. So this is what we're looking for in order for us to log into RealTime.
And if customers aren't sure of where they can, of their subdomain name, who can they reach out to, Ruben?
So
that's
actually, the best way to find it is it's going to be your exact URL to sign into back office. So www.gocleancarwash.sonny's controls. It's just going to be what is before that .sonnyscontrols.com. There you go. See, if you look at what Ruben's highlighting there, it's going to be the same exact text right there as it is when you sign into your back office software.
Do not include the .Sonny's controls.
Yes, no .Sonny's controls.
Just the name before them.
Right.
Couple more questions.
Do we currently have the ability to manipulate wash books on the SPS admin screens, or not quite yet?
We do not. We're focused on memberships for this one, so it is really a membership management piece. But that is a good addition. What I would like to do is just gather more information on what we'd want to manage for that. If it is just same kind of stuff, removing plates, or I guess adding more washes to it. So if we can get more information on that, I think it's a good addition if the clients are looking for it.
Got it. Perfect. All right. So yeah, there was a lot of great questions today. Guys and girls, thank you so much for participating. That's what this is all about. We really value your feedback, and your questions are what kind of helps us aim what we're going to do on future webinars. That's going to conclude the list of questions that I would consider beneficial in terms of the whole entire group and being a part of this webinar. But I do see that there are some, whether they be tech support issues or weird things that you guys have identified. Again, please send those over to our support team or the sales team, controlsales.sonnysdirect.com, like Sasha mentioned earlier. But if you want a straight line right to the help desk, it is controlshelpdesk@sonnysdirect.com. We would love for you to forward all of your feedback over there. Feel free to copy us over here on the sales side if you'd need to. And thanks again for another round of awesome questions.
Thanks, Kearns. Thank you, gentlemen, for helping out on that one. Everyone else, thank you again for joining us today. We hope you found the session valuable. Hope you picked up a few new ways to get more out of your POS and operational tools. So if you're not already signed up for our controls release notes, I highly recommend it. I'll pop the link there on the screen. We'll also send a follow-up email and we will share the webinar, and we will share some of these details to get some resources. You'll get the best updates on the new features, improvements, and best practices from our team from those release notes. So they happen approximately every 6 weeks. Our next webinar is going to be probably in about another 8 weeks. We will obtain feedback from you guys, and hopefully we can curate it around the most popular subjects that you're looking to learn more about. And please don't forget to follow our Facebook page, Talk Sonny's Controls. So that's where we'll post the replay of today's webinar, and that way you can visit it and revisit it, anything that we covered or shared with your team. We'll also continue the conversation in there. So if you want to ask additional questions after this session, you'll know where to find us. And any feedback that you have with regards to this webinar, please drop it in there. Again, if you would like more training for your team or yourself, please just reach out to us. We are happy to help you and assist you. These tools are only powerful if they're used. So learn what's at your fingertips, and thank you again, and we will see you on the next webinar.